Hello guys, it's Anomaly from Sweden, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at skins that sold for the complete wrong price. Now, I recently saw a video made by McSkillet where he goes through the same things. That video was made in 2017 and I haven't found an updated version of that video anywhere. No one's made it. So I thought, why don't I make it? Because ever since he made that video, there have been some absolutely crazy skin sales. But before I get into that, I wanted to thank today's sponsor, which is Skinport. Now, if you don't know what Skinport is, it's a CSGO marketplace, meaning that you can buy and sell skins for real money, real cash, dollar bill. You can also sell Team Fortress items and Rust items and Dota 2, but let's be honest, who plays those games? There's almost 350,000 items listed, and if you're buying skins, for example, buying a Tiger Tooth on Steam, you're gonna have to chill out on 430 euro. Meanwhile, on Skinport, cheapest one listed right now is 315 euro. That's a difference of over 100 euro. Very crazy. Also, if you're selling items, you can see they have a suggested price, so hopefully you don't list your items at the wrong price, which is what this video is about. So, whether you guys want to buy skins or sell skins for real money safely, then use the link in the description. Thank you very much, Skinport, for keeping the third channel alive. And now, let's go into the video. So here is the list which me and Arctic made. You will see there is quite a lot of very high tier skins here, and we are going to go through why these skins sold for the wrong price. First, an example which McSkillet says in his video, the Op Dragon Lore. He only mentions this sale here. Sadly, his video was made before this sale happened. Now, you might be wondering why it's so low here and all of a sudden it jumps up. That's because back here, back in the day, I sound like a boomer, the max value you could list something on the Steam market for was 350 euro. But they changed it here, and of course, the Dragon Lore started selling for more. Here, it sold for something like $15, and just 2 months later, in November, it sold for 0.04 for a factory new Op Dragon Lore. The value of this skin now is around 8,200 euro or so, so he missed out on basically all of it by selling it for 4 cents or $15. That's not better either. And this was back in 2017. You can still see, even after then, in 2018, 19 and 20, they're still selling. Like, one sold pretty recently for only 1,000 euro. It makes no sense when it's worth 8 times as much. Next up on the list, we have the Sport Gloves Hedge Mace Factory New. As you may know from the last video I made on the high tier gloves, this one is a very expensive glove. And really, it shouldn't be sold on Steam Market at all. And we can see here, if we check lifetime price history, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It sold at least 6 times on the market for 1,500 euro, 1,400 euro, most recently as low as 440 euro. Now, if you don't know why that's crazy, that's because this glove is listed for 10,300 euro. So whoever sold these on the Steam market literally lost out on basically 10,000 euro in real money, not Steam wallet balance, actual money. Oh my god, that's like a deposit for an apartment or like a brand new car or something. That's crazy. Next up, we have the Sport Gloves Vice Factory New. From my last video, you may or may not have seen, this one ranks as the second most expensive glove in the game. Now, why was this sold on the Steam market? I have no idea. I can only guess it was someone who unboxed it and thought, oh, look at this, it's worth 1,400 euro on the Steam market, I guess I'll sell it. Or 1,500 or 1,200 euro. Now, if you don't know the price of these are listed right now for 18,000 euro. 18,000 euro. That is insane. So whoever sold it here for 1,200 or 1,400, they basically lost out on 17,000 euro. If he just sold this for real money and profited that 17,000 euro instead, he could have gotten this house in Sweden, he could have gotten this brand new Chevrolet car and had quite a lot of money to spare, he could have gotten this vintage full full gold Rolex. Like, it's insane. And instead, he sold it on Steam Market. Rip Bozo. Next up, we have another pair of gloves. Yes, I went with the banger gloves first because I wanted to see what they would sell for, because my last video was all about gloves. Now, the Pandora's box, these are only minimal wear. Thankfully, factory new haven't sold on the Steam Market. These ones actually sell pretty frequently, as you see here. They sold very many times before the cap was increased, and still to this day, they're selling like monthly almost, which is insane. Last few sales were all in the 1500 euro range, some were as low as 1100 euro, lowest one being 960 euro. Now, why this doesn't make sense is because in real cash, these gloves are worth just about 6,600 euro, and that's for the bad floats. And now all of the prices that I'm saying what they're worth in real money, they are based on the worst float. So you see this one, that's the worst possible float you can get for a pair of minimal wear gloves. Now think instead, if these were 0.07, I wouldn't be able to check that from the Steam Market, but the price would change. If they were 0.07, they wouldn't be 6,600 euro. No, they would be over 11,500 euro. So it just gets worse. For the next pair of gloves, we have the Sport Gloves Superconductor Factory New. Another pair of very high tier gloves. Thankfully, you can see they haven't sold many times, but the first time they sold for 192 euro. Now, these bad boys go for around 7,000 euro right now, so he really had no idea what a gold treasure he had. But I guess that's what happens when you're new to the game and you open something really rare like this. You just sell it on the good old Steam Market and then lose your house, car, or gold Rolex. Next up, we have the Stattrak AK Fire Serpent. Now, it's not this one that I have, sadly, mine is field tested. The one we're talking about is factory new. Now, if you don't know, these are very rare in factory new, which is why I'm surprised that they sell for 1,500 euro. Now, remember, this was after the cap was released, quite a long time after, so it makes no sense that these two sold this long after the cap was increased, when they're literally worth around 5,000 euro each. So, in these two sales, these two people combined lost around 7,000 euro of money they could have had in their pocket. Instead, now they're stuck with like 1,200 euro after fees on Steam wallet. Nice. Sadly, even nowadays we see people sell their skins for prices which are ridiculous. For example, when the AK Gold Arabesque was released, which was pretty recently, this one started selling at a ridiculous price. Here you can see the Gold Arabesque factory new selling for 1,200 euro, but the lowest sold, and these are all new sales, you know, because this is a very new skin. The lowest it sold for 500 euro. I have no idea what person, in what state of mind you have to be to see that this skin is selling for thousands, but then listed for this much less. I don't understand why. Thankfully, it's not that big of a mistake. This one now is around 1,600 euro, but that's real cash. This guy ended up with probably 400 euro locked to his Steam wallet instead of 1,600 euro cash money in the pocket, bank, money bill, dollar bill that he could throw onto strip dancing Filipino prostitute. The next skin we have is a Skeleton Fade. Now, this one is a bit hard to price what it's actually worth, because as I said, I don't know the float, but more importantly, I don't know the fade. So the price of this one is between 1,200 euro and 1,700 euro. And if I just show you the sale history, I'm pretty sure you can see which one I'm talking about. No, it's not them starting off at 800 euro, which is quite low, or this one selling for 155 euro. No, we're talking about this sale. 0.15 euro. What? What? So if this is worth 1700 euro and he sold it for 0.15, he lost out on 1699.85 euro, or 11,300 times the money he got from this sale. Next up, of course, we have the M4 Howl. Now, there were so many mistakes or items sold for the wrong price here that I decided to group all of them together. Starting off with the Stattrak factory new Howl. If we look at the sales, in the beginning, they sold for only 190 euro. Now, this kind of makes sense though, because here in the beginning, they weren't contraband, which means they weren't this yellow quality, because it was removed due to DMCA copyright problems, which means that it makes sense that it sold for a regular price in the beginning, because it was a regular skin. After that, you can see, however, here is where they changed the copyright, and already it shot up to the price ceiling, but still to this day, some of them actually sell. So you can see recently one sold, and not recently per se, but one sold for 600 euro. You can see that's years after they made it contraband. And then just a few months later, no, 1 month later actually, it sold for 1670 euro. So I have no idea why someone sold it for 600 euro. I guess he just looked at the price history and was like, oh, 300 euro, I'll list it for double. In reality, both of these people lost out on quite a lot of money. This one being listed, or rather being worth 13,000 euro, which once again could almost buy you a house in Sweden, or that very nice Rolex that we looked at. Stattrak Howl field tested, also selling for 1700 euro, which makes no sense, but I guess people, they just see it, they maybe go inactive for a few years, they see it and they're like, oh, that's cool, let me sell it. The regular Howl field tested, also selling for around 1600 euro. Like all of these, you can see they're selling for basically the same price, even though some are factory new. Stattrak factory new, Stattrak field tested, it makes no sense. The Stattrak field tested is worth around 5,000 euro, and the non-Stattrak around 2,500 euro. So at least these people, they only lost out on maybe 1,000 euro. They would have had 2,500 real money instead of Steam Wallet. And finally, we have the M4 Howl factory new, also non-surprisingly selling for around 1,600 euro, when it's worth 5,000 euro, which is fucking crazy. I also found some vanilla skins. The butterfly knife, it's selling for a decent price. This one's worth around 800 euro, so it's selling for a little bit more on Steam, of course. But if we go back in time a bit, you will see this knife, vanilla butterfly, was selling for as low as 70 euro. Now, that's not gonna make sense to a lot of people, but back in the day, the butterfly knife wasn't actually that crazy. You just saw it as another knife, because back in the day, we had the Falcon, we had the Huntsman, Karambit, and butterfly, so it was just another knife. Now, this knife has gained like gold tier status, but back in the day, it was just another knife. The Karambit vanilla is also interesting, selling for a decent price. It's around 400 euros, so it's selling for around that. But there's one sale in particular which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. These are very old sales, when the Karambit was selling for around 150 euro. Two of them sold for 11 euro and 9.4 euro. As I said, look, these are really old sales, but still, it makes no sense why someone would sell them for this cheap. Second to last item that I found that I thought was fun was the Aug Akihabara Accept. If we look at the sales, you will see around 1,500-1,600 euro, which is the cap nowadays. Not too awful, but this one is worth around 4,000 euro in bad float. If it's a good float, then it's worth over 5,000 euro. And you will see one sale in particular stands out, it being sold for 118 euro. And now this is even after it had established the price of being the full cap which you could list at, and then all of a sudden it just sells for way less. It makes no sense. I would want to know the story behind all of these sales to see what happened, what went wrong. And the final item is the sticker Harp of War Holo. Now this one makes sense, but it's still a bit interesting because not many people know about this sticker. Now as you can see, once it was released, it was selling for literally 50 cents. 300 being sold in a day. You see 300, 360, 250. Many of them were selling, but then they just started kind of dying out slowly. The price went up, and now the prices are insane. These are worth in real cash around 800 euro, but the reason it was selling for so little and now so much is because this item is actually removed from the game. It's no longer available in any capsule, so only the ones that were opened are still available available for trade, which is very interesting. This is basically like an M4 Howl or the Howling Dawn sticker, just without the yellow color, which is very interesting. So here's the little spreadsheet that we made. If we just take the potential profit, now this is a little wrong because these prices are a little older, but we will see how much these people, by selling only 18 items, how much money, real money, they lost out on. They lost out on 92,000 euro. Oh my god. That is a whole house. That's insane. But thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this little updated version of McSkillet's old video, which I found very interesting. And if you've ever sold a skin for the wrong price, or if you know a friend who accidentally sold something or bought something for far too much, then please let me know in the comments and I'll read through them and listen to your guys' story. But now, I think that's it. I'm gonna go cry over all the money and skins that are lost to these Steam market bots just sucking them up for cents. Meanwhile, we regular people have to shill out the whole wallet to get a single skin.